Albert Park is chief economist at the ADB, and he explained why Asia is the fastest growing region in the world.
Despite global headwinds, on the back of robust domestic consumption and investment, much of developing Asia continues to recover fairly resiliently from the pandemic. Our forecast for developing Asia is that it's going to grow at 4.8% this year and 4.7% next year, which means it's going to be the fastest growing region in the world, just as it was before the pandemic. And I think that reflects the underlying dynamism of the region, as well as sound macroeconomic management through the pandemic, through the commodity price pressures caused by the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and as well as the current challenges of high inflation and slow growth in more advanced countries.
Well, you mentioned inflation there, and the picture in Asia when it comes to inflation is pretty different to what's been seen in most of Europe, for example. What's the story there? Why is it so different?
Well, I think we're seeing inflation come down globally, with commodity prices and food prices gradually coming down. Developing Asia has been hit less hard by the inflationary pressure, partly because in terms of food, it relies on rice, and rice prices have not been hit as hard as the prices of wheat and corn through the war in Ukraine.
We had some somewhat disappointing data out of China recently. Given it's such a huge economy, what impact is that having on the wider region?
Yeah, it's unfortunate that the recovery in China seems a bit sluggish. So there are a lot of numbers coming out: high youth employment, kind of slow income recovery, not very much increases in import demand. In fact, a slight decrease in the first quarter relative to last year. And it really reflects the fact that Chinese consumers and investors still have not really regained confidence. They still perceive a high level of uncertainty. We also know that debt levels in China remain elevated, both at the corporate level, at the household level, and even local government debt. So there may be a nervousness to keep spending money. At the same time, most of the countries in the region, once they moved away from lockdown, strict COVID policies, did experience gradual recovery, some countries more robust than others. So we're hoping that eventually, as the confidence comes back in China, that we'll see the pent-up demand coming out, and we'll see the Chinese consumer coming back and more investment occurring. But right now, it looks like it's going to be a very slow recovery. You know, that said, our forecast is still that China will grow at 5% this year, 4.5% next year, which, you know, in the current global context is pretty good. It's not nearly as fast as some of the growth rates China has posted in the past, but it's still broadly supportive of recovery in the region.